Welcome. Today we will discuss statistics. The word statistics is derived from the Latin word statista. It is a Latin word. The meaning of this statista is a political state. Government has appointed an assistant statistical officer in every mandal to get the information regarding the crop, the population, the births, the deaths, and the pensions and the rainfall. They will gather all the information through this office only. So they will gather complete information and they will tabulate it and they will submit it to the government. And the government will take the decisions. So by observing the data which was given by the assistant statistical officers. So so how this data will be gathered means there are so many peoples are there around the mandal and they will give the government officials will give the information regarding the deaths and the births also, and the cattle, the number of cattle also will be calculated, and the cost wise analysis also will be given. So how this is tabulated, we will go through this now. Let us take one example. Here consider the marks obtained by 50 students in a mathematics test for a total of 10 marks. So here, so in a classroom there are 50 students. So among the 50 students, so this exam is conducted for 50 students and it's for 10 marks. So there are 5 marks, 8 marks, 6, 4, 2 like that. So these are all the marks of 50 people. So we have to tabulate this one, this information. How we have to tabulate this? Let us go through this now. First of all, you have to draw a table. Just draw the table like this and just divide this table into 3 parts. So in the first column, we have to write, here we should write the marks because this question is regarding the marks. Write marks here. And in the middle column, we have to write the tally marks. In the third column, we have to write the number of students. Actually, this number of students is called frequency. It is nothing but frequency. So we will take the marks. Actually, this exam is conducted for a total of 10 marks. That means, so each student may get 0 to 10 marks. But in this question, no student got 0 marks. That's why I am not taking that. So if you want, you can take, no problem. So 0 marks. How many students got 0 marks? Just observe this one, this table. So no student got. That's why the tally marks just keep dash. The number of students is 0. And take one more. That is the next mark is 1. How many students got 1 mark? Just count. So here just cross them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students. So in the tally marks, you have to write first four lines, and after for the 5th line, don't draw that. Just draw a diagonal line. Then it gives the value of 5. Actually here 6 students got 1 mark. That's why this total is 5. And after that you have to write again 1. So this total gives 6. And take the next number, next mark, that is 2. So how many students got 2 marks? Just count. Next mark is 2. So take the 2. How many students got 2 marks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 students. That's why 1, 2, 3, 4, and after that draw a diagonal line and next one. That's value 6. And take the next one, that is 3. How many students got 3 marks? Just count. Like this you have to count all the marks up to 10 marks. 3, 1, 2, 3. So draw 3 lines. The tally marks. Like that you have to finish all the marks. Just observe. So like this you have to write the table. So this table actually here what we did, we have distributed the marks into a tabular form. So this is called frequency distribution table. But here it is not grouped because only one number is there. So this is 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks. That means here nothing is grouped. So that this is called ungrouped frequency distribution table. Here nothing is grouped. Group means, so if a single person is standing, then we can't say it is a group. If more than one person, that means two persons are standing, then we can call it as a group. So here for the same data, we will make a grouped frequency distribution table for the same data. Just I will explain how to do that. We will take the same question. So before that, we should know the range. What is the definition of range? Range is equal to maximum value minus minimum value. So in this question, the maximum is 10 minus the minimum is 1. Minimum mark is 1. We have to know the class intervals. So what is class interval? The students who got 1 to 2 marks, a group. The students who got 3 to 4 marks, a group. And 5 to 6, a group. Like that we will make the class into groups. So that is nothing but class intervals. So the class intervals is, suppose I wanted to take the class interval. That means I wanted to make the students a group of 1 to 3 marks. So the class intervals will be 1 to 3. And next one is 4 to 6, next 7 to 9, next 10 to 12. The group will be like this. Just observe. Here what happened? What is the length of the class interval? Length. What is the definition of length? Length of the class interval means we have to count from 1 to 3. How many numbers we are getting? How many marks we are getting? So 1, 2, 3. The length is 3. And take this one. Actually the length should be equal in every class interval. This is first class interval, this is second, this is third, this is fourth. In this just observe 4 to 6. Just count 4, 5, 6. And next one 7, 8, 9. So the length of the class interval is 3. Now we have to find out the number of class intervals. That means how many class intervals we have to take is equal to range by length of the class interval. This is the formula. Class interval means I will denote it as Ci. The class intervals 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, 10 to 12. We will tabulate this one. See this first. Here we have to write the class. Instead of marks, we have to use the word class interval. Here number of students, that means it is frequency. That means in the each group, how many students we are going to arrange. The first class interval is 1, 2, 3. Just count 1, 2, 3. How many? So let us observe the ungrouped frequency table. 1, 2, 3. Actually, these 3 a group. Actually, these 3 marks a group. So 1, 2, 3 means how many students? Per 1 mark we have 6 students. And for 2 marks we have 1 more 6. And for 3 marks we have 3 students. That means the total number of students in the group 1, 2, 3 is 6 plus 6, 12, 12 plus 3, 15. So for 1, 2, 3 class interval we have 15 students. The frequency is 15. And take the next group, that is 4 to 6. The class interval 4 to 6. You have to count how many students are there in the 4 to 6 group. So these 4 to 6, these marks a group. So that their frequency should be added. The frequency of 4 to 6 is 9 plus 7, 16 plus 5, 21. So here I should write 21. Next 7 to 10. So 7 to 10 a group. 7 to 9. 7 to 9 a group. So 7 to 9. Just make a group. Here 2 plus 6, 8 plus 2, 10. And 10 to 12. Actually the maximum value is 10 only. But each class interval should have the same length. That's why you can take no problem. 10 to 12, that is 4. Just count the total number of students. Here the total is equal to 15 plus 21, 36, 46, 50. Total is 50 because these marks are of the 50 students. That's why we got 50. What is this 50 called? This 50 is number of students. So Number of students means frequency. So that this total is called sum of the frequency. Is equal to 50. That means number of students is 50. Frequency is denoted by small f. So sum means we should write sigma. Sigma stands for the summation. Sigma f. So here we should write I. Why should we have to write I? Sigma fi. That means is equal to, in the place of I write 1, f1 plus f2 plus f3 plus dash dash up to fn. What is this f1? What is this f2? f1 means nothing. f1 means the first frequency. f2 means second frequency. f3 means third frequency. f4 means fourth frequency. Like that, we have to add all the frequencies. So that is denoted with sigma fi. So sigma stands for the summation, to keep the plus symbol between the terms. So I means we have to write the, instead of I, that is variable, we have to write 1 2 3 up to n. So this is sigma fi, f1 plus f2 plus f3 plus dash dash fn. And see the class intervals 1 2 3 4 to 6 7 to 9 10 to 12. Just we will write the class intervals. The class intervals are 1 2 3 and next 4 to 6 and 7 to 9 and 10 to 12. Just observe. So this is a class interval, first class interval. So in this class interval, one is called, actually it is the least one, that is it is called lower limit. So this 1 4, just observe 1 4 1 4 7 10, these all are called lower limits. The first terms in a class interval is the first term, the least terms are called lower limits, and the maximum values. So on the right side we have the maximum values, the maximum numbers. That means, so in the class interval the extreme right numbers are called upper limits. So for each class interval we have to count. So for 1 2 3, suppose let us take one example. I am taking one example. In this example 3 to 10 and 11 to 18. So in this class interval they won't ask the lower limit, because here we have two class intervals. They will ask the particular class interval, they will ask the lower limit or upper limit for the particular class interval. That means in this question, so in 3 to 10 class interval, write the lower limit and upper limit. So for this class interval the lower limit is 3, upper limit is 10. So they will give the class intervals. Suppose we have one more class interval, that is 3 to 10, 11 to 18, that is 19 to 26 and 27 to 34. Like that we have infinite class intervals. So in all these class intervals they will ask for the particular class intervals only, they will ask the upper limit and lower limit. So this tabular form is grouped frequency distribution. This is, so wherever you see the class intervals, then that is called grouped frequency distribution table. Here we have only single values, that's why this is not grouped. Group means there should be more than one value, one is to be grouped. That means 2 numbers or 3 numbers or 4 numbers should be grouped. So for the same question we will group one more. So I will take the class interval as 1 2 3, just observe 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 9, 9 to 11. I am taking this for the same question, just observe. For the same question, here the class intervals 1 2 3, next 4 to 6. Here in this question I am taking the class intervals 1 2 3 and 3 to 5, just observe. There we have some difference between the two. So 1 2 3, just observe. So this is ungrouped frequency table. So 1 2 3. So 1 2 3 means in the previous question what we have taken, up to 3 marks we have counted 6 plus 6 plus 3, that is 15 we have written. But the second group 3 has come twice. That means suppose if you take 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 3 in the first group, it will be 15. And for 3 to 5 group, then what will happen? We have to count from 3. That means 3 plus 9 plus 7. That will become 12 plus 7 will become 19. Actually, what happened here? 3 has come twice. So we should not take like this. So this is 1 is called the lower limit and 3 is called upper limit. So in this, for the first class intervals, upper limit is 3, and for the next class lower limit is 3. Here both are equal. The first class intervals upper limit and the next class lower limit are equal. So that these kind of class intervals are called exclusive classes. In the previous one, the first class intervals upper limit and the next class intervals lower limit not equal. They are not equal. So that these kind of class intervals are called inclusive classes. For the exclusive classes, we should not write like this. This is the wrong way of writing. So how to write? So we should write 1, 2, 3. The upper limit of the first term, this one. So this is the upper limit of the first class interval, and this is the lower limit of the next class interval. These are equal. That's why what should we have to take? We should ignore the 3 value in the first set. So while after ignoring, what will happen? We get only 6 plus 6. Up to this only we have to take 6 plus 6. So this one. Don't take the value of 3. 6 plus 6, 12. And for 3 to 5, that means here we have to ignore 5. Only we should take 3 to 4, because this will come in the next class. So 3 to 5 is 3 to 5 in the sense we have to take up to 4. 3 plus 9, 12. And for 5 to 7, we take up to 7. So 6 only. 7 plus 5, 12. And 7 to 8 is 8. And here we have to write this is 11. So 9 to 11 means you take 9, 10. This is 2, 4, 6. Just count 12, 36, 44, 650. So we can write here sum of frequency, but no need to write the total word. We can denote it as sigma fi is equal. That means sum of frequency, sum of the students. So the number of students is 50. So sigma fi is equal to 50. So like this, how to tabulate. So here the exclusive classes and inclusive classes both are little different. So here we can use one more word. Lower limit, upper limit we have used so far. But now we will use the words lower boundary and upper boundary. What is this lower boundary? And what is the upper boundary? So the lower boundary is, how to find the lower boundary of a class? Suppose the previous question, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 6, 7 to 9. So we will take these class intervals. I will write the class intervals 1, 2, 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, 10 to 12. So actually these are the class intervals. So for each class interval we have to find the lower boundary. First we will find the lower boundary of this class. Actually, what is the definition of lower boundary? That is, for the particular class only we have to find the lower boundary and upper boundary. So lower boundary means we should write the formula for lower boundary, that is lower limit plus upper limit of previous class by 2. Lower limit plus upper limit of previous class by 2. This is the definition of lower boundary. So for each class we have to find, I said to find the lower boundary of this class interval 1, 2, 3. How to find out this? So first we should write the lower limit. So the lower limit is 1. Already we have known that. 1 plus, and upper limit of the previous class. Actually 1, 2, 3 is the first class, but no previous class. But we have to assume the previous class. We have to take the assumption. That is, here what happened, for every class intervals we have one difference. That's why if it is the lower limit is 1, then its previous class upper limit will be 0. Dash, there should be something, we don't know that, no need to bother about this one. So we have to know only this thing, that is the upper limit of its previous class, that will be 0. So write 0 by 2, that will become 1 by 2, that is 0.5. So for the 1, 2, 3 class interval, the lower boundary is 0.5, and we will find the upper boundary for the same class. The definition is upper limit less lower limit of the next class by 2. So upper limit of this class is 1, 2, 3. So 3 plus lower limit of the next class lower limit is 4 by 2. That is equal to 3 plus 4, 7. 7 by 2, that is 3.5. So now we can write the class interval as 0.5 to 3.5. This is not minus, this is hyphen. Hyphen means it is from 2, 0.5 to 3.5. So this is the class interval by using the boundaries, upper boundaries and lower boundaries. So I will show the difference between the limit and the boundary. Suppose we have a house and we have one more house beside of our house. This is one more house, and we have a wall between the two houses. So let us suppose this is the wall. So what is the limit? What is the boundary? Limit means the space which we can use. The space which we can use is limit. So the space, how much distance we can use? Only up to this one, up to the wall only we can utilize. So this is called limit. This is limit. Up to this is limit, edge. And boundary. So in our registration papers, our place will be up to half of this wall. It is boundary. That is the difference. Boundary and limit, the place which we can utilize is lower limit, and the place up to the how much place we are the owners, that will be half of the wall, we are the owners. That's why half will be the boundary. So most of the times the limit and the boundary having the difference, that is only 0.5. So for this question also, and in some cases both will be equal, no problem. Lower limit and lower boundary both are equal. So in most of the cases they are not equal. So for this question, lower limit and the lower boundary both are different. So here the lower boundary is 0.5 and here the lower limit is 1. So both are different, but the difference between these two is only 0.5. So we have to, whenever we have the question, in that question what should we have to do? We have to convert the class intervals as exclusive classes. So like that, so we have exercise 9.1. In this we have 1 to 9 questions. Welcome. Today we will discuss central tendencies, measure of central tendencies. So we should know what is the central tendency. Central tendency means for the whole data, the value which represents the whole data is called central tendency. So we have three central tendencies. The three are, the first one is mean, and it has some other name, that is average. And we have one more name, that is arithmetic mean. Simply we can denote it as AM. And we have one more central tendency, that is median. And the third one is mode. So let us discuss the first one, that is mean, arithmetic mean, and has some other name, that is average. So in the 7th or 8th classes, we have learnt how to find the mean of a data. So the formula for the mean is sum of observations by number of observations. Observations means data which we have collected is called observation. So let us take one example, that is example 4. Rainfall of a place in a week. Find the average rainfall per day. So we will write the formula of mean, that is mean is equal to sum of observations by number of observations. Here the mean is denoted by x bar, and the observations we can write the observations as x1, x2, x3 like that. x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus dash dash xn by number of observations, that is small n, and we can denote this x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus dash dash xn as, so already we have previously we have known that the plus symbol stands for sigma, and x in the place of 1 2 3 we can write I, sigma xi by n is equal to x bar. So this is the formula for the mean. In this question the observations are x bar is equal to, here it is the rainfall, it is calculated by, it is measured by the assistant statistical officer, and in every gram panchayat, so we have a rain gauge, there we will count the how much rainfall is occurred on that particular place, the particular time. They will denote on a paper and they will send it to the government. So sum of observations is, that is 4 plus 5 plus 12 plus 3 plus 6 plus 8 plus 0.5 by how many observations? Actually it is the rainfall of a week, so that for a week we have 7 days, here the observations also 7, so we have to add them and divide with 7. So this total will become 38.5 by 7. So by simplification 7 5 is 35.5. So 5.5 centimeters is the average rainfall. Here what is this 5.5 centimeters? That we have to know. So this is, suppose we have 7 days, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 days. In these 7 days, actually on the first day the rainfall is 4 centimeters, actually it is 4, and actually it is 4, and it is 5, and it is 12, it is 3, it is 6, 8, 0.5. We have found the average, that is 5.5 centimeters. What does it mean? This 5.5 means on the first day actually the rainfall is 4, but we can write it as, we can suppose it as 5.5, and the next day the rainfall is 5, but we have to suppose it as 5.5. That means on each day the rainfall is 5.5 centimeters only, and each day it is 5.5. Actually on some days the rainfall is more than the average, on some days the rainfall is less than the average, but what we have done, we have equated all the days. That means the average is equal all the people. This is the total status. So this will represent the whole data for each day. So this is per day, first day, second day, third day also same. So average equate all the people. So we should not feel that we are great and some people we are not great. So average will make all the people equal. So this is the specialty of the average. And we'll take one more example. Your weights in kg and number of students. This is the table. So in this table we have to write the data which is given in the question. In a class, a teacher asked her students to give their weights. So the students have given their weights. So 30 kgs. The students who have the weight of 30 kg are 5 members. So like this, the data is given. So for this data, we have to find out the mean. In the previous question, number of students is not given. In that, we have to feel that there are only one number of, that means number of students is one only in the previous question. Here we have 5 students. How to find out this? So for this kind of data, the mean is equal to x1 into f1 plus x2 into f2 plus dash dash xn into fn by f1 plus f2 plus dash dash up to fn. So in the place of 1 take I, so it will become, and then we have plus symbol, that's why we can denote it as sigma fi xi or xi fi, no problem, by sum of frequencies denoted with sigma fi. So mean is equal to, you can write this formula. So what is fi? F means frequency, number of students. So for the same question, we can just multiply 30 into 5, because 30 should be added 5 times actually. Actual meaning is that one, 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30, like that you have to write. We can write the frequency, that is 5. So if you multiply the weight with the frequency, then it will become sum of the weights of 5 students. 30 into 5 plus, and the next one is 32 into 9. Why? 32 weight is for 9 students, that's why we have to multiply that with 9 plus, and 33 into 15. Here the weight 33 is for 15 students, and 35 into 6 students got the weight 35, and next one 37 into 3 plus 41 into 2. Why? Actually this data is 5 plus 9 14 plus 15 29 plus 6 35 plus 3 38 plus 2 40 students. This data is of 40 students, that's why only we have to add the frequencies, that is 40. So by multiplication, by adding all these, we can get 1336 by 40. Just simplify. By simplification we get 33.40 kg. What does it mean? Each and every student have the weight of 33.40. So each student, these 5 students also having the weight 33.4, and these 9 students also having the weight of 33.4, and these 15 students also having the weight of 33.4, and these 6 students also having the weight of 33.4. And we will go through the example 7. We will go through the example 7. I will draw a table. Here we have the question. The question is, if the mean of the following data is 7.5, that means in the question mean is given. No need to find the mean. Mean is 7.5 and we should find out the value of A. This is not given. We have to find out the value of A. A is equal to how much? So mean is given. We have to find one frequency. One frequency is not given. So simply we can use the same formula, that is mean is equal to same marks into number of students, that is, so mean is equal to sigma fi xi by sigma fi. So fi xi means for frequencies, multiply the marks with frequency. 5 into 3 plus 6 into 10 plus 7 into 17 plus 8 into A by sigma fi means you have to add all these. 3 plus 10, you can write 3 plus 10 plus 17 plus A plus 8 plus 4, and the mean, we know the value of mean, so in the place of mean write 7.5. So the question is over. Now only simplification is left. 5 into 3 15 plus 6 into 10 60 plus 119 plus 8a plus 72 plus 40 by, add all these, 3 plus 10 13 plus 17 30 plus 8 38 plus 42 plus a. Actually it is 42 plus a, but the students will write this 42 plus a as 42a. Actually we should not add the number and the variable. Here we are asked to add 42 plus a, here we get, but if you write 42a, then what will happen? 42a means 42 into a. You are given to add, but what we did, so multiplied, so this is wrong. That's why we should not write like that. And the 7.5 is equal to 15 plus 60 75. This total value will become 306 plus 8a. Here also we should not add 306 plus 8a. This is not 8, this is 8a. So these two are unlike terms, so unlike terms should not be added. So cross multiplication. Multiply these two, 7.5 into 42, just multiply, we get 315 plus 7.5a is equal to 306 plus 8a, and bring all the a's together, plus 7.5a comes to right side, it will be minus 7.5, 315 minus 306, so 8a. Here 8a means it is 8.0a and this is 7.a. Actually in 8 we have no decimal, but we should write, we can write 8 as 8 point infinitely many zeros, 8.000, like that we can write infinitely many zeros. That's why I have written only 1 0, because in the next one 7.5 only after decimal we have one digit, that's why only I kept 1 0 after 8. So subtraction, first you should start the subtraction from the right to left, so it gets borrow 10 5 minus 0, so this is 0.5a. Here 315 minus 306, that is 9, so a is equal to 9 by 0.5. This is the answer, but we can simplify again, so it is equal to 9 by 5 by 10, because while converting the decimal into fraction we had to write, instead of the decimal we can write 1. After decimal we have to count the number of digits on the right side of the decimal. The right side of the number is only one number, that's why keep 10. The next step, don't write the decimal symbol, you can write 05, but for a number we cannot write 0 on the left side, we can ignore that, so we can write it as 5 by 10. So I have replaced this 0.5 with 5 by 10, and it will become, this is the numerator and this is the denominator, this is the numerator, it goes to up, so it will become 9 into 10 by 5 equal to a. Simplification, that is 18 is equal to a. Don't leave this, because we should write A is equal to 18. Like this, we have to find the mean. Thank you.